Here we're going to compile a custom kick from separate envelope sections. Instead of wasting hours searching for the perfect elusive drum hit that embodies all the characteristics you want in one sound, it's possible to design your own by combining individual envelope sections of different one-shots you like. We'll start by importing kickproperty.wav onto a new audio track in any DAW with fading functions. Now we're using Cubase 7 here. Make sure the sample sits right at 1 on the timeline, right at the start of the project, and then turn its volume down to -6 dB. This sample has a nice clicky attack, but it lacks a weighty sustain. So let's isolate the part of the hit that we like. First, right-click on Cubase's timeline display and change its measurement to samples, so we can see our precise adjustments more clearly. Now grab our kick's lower right edge and drag it left to shorten the sound to roughly 2,800 samples long. And then drag the sample's top right node in to 2,000 samples to fade out the sound. So now import kickkerry.wav onto a new track, and we'll use its weighty sustain after our first kick. So also place this at the start of the timeline. We'll turn it down by 6 dB, and we'll turn off our quantize, and we'll drag its lower left edge in right to shorten it past our first kick. And we'll set that to about 2,200 samples. And now we'll fade its left edge in to around 2,700 samples. And we only want the sound's low end sustain, so to isolate the sample's low frequencies, we'll use FabFilter Pro Q's 24 dB per octave high cut filter at around 2000 Hz. The kick sounds decent, but there isn't enough splash or ambience over the top end. So layer kick live break 05.wav on a third new track, again at 0 on the timeline. We'll turn it down by -20 dB, so it's only adding a really subtle layer over our other samples. And we'll then apply a 24 dB per octave low cut filter at 818 Hz using another FabFilter Pro Q. And this prevents the acoustic kick's low from clashing with our other hits in an undesirable way. Now, drum hits often sound unnatural without some small room reverb, as our ears are used to hearing sounds in an acoustic space. So add Liquid Sonic's Reverberate CM over the third acoustic kick, select the smaller room preset, then turn its dry wet amount down to 0 to -3 dB. And this gives us a very slight reflective ambience that adds subtle realism to the kick and sits behind our core layers without affecting their punch at all. And to finish off our custom kick, we group our 3 channels to a single group channel, and we'll apply Native Instruments Vary Comp on the group. We'll bring the threshold down to 6.4 and then rebalance the output gain to minus 8.8 dB for some extremely subtle gelling compression. And then finally, Premix CM's gain is driven to plus 15 dB, and then its output is backed off to around minus 2.5 dB to saturate our layers together slightly. Now, trying to use these three layers in this way in a project could get awkward. Things like copying and pasting and using it in a track just wouldn't be practical. So what we're going to do is we're going to render out our newly created kick to our samples folder.